Outstanding work of our change agents and Dr. Johni Cruse Craig. We worked on different topics, not just the normal thing. You know, we worked on culturally relevant teaching, social and emotional learning, trauma-informed classrooms, and the whole child, just to name a few.
In terms of what you all are doing and what it means to us and what it means to everyone, education is a foundational key. I think it was George Washington Carver that said education is the key to freedom, which is the tie and the link between education and social action.
Delta pushed early on that it's not just matriculating through a scripted curriculum that may not teach needed life and adaptive skills. We have been pushing through our gyms and other programs that you need to focus on educating the whole person so that our next generation has the basic life skills to navigate and adapt in now an even more demanding and unrelenting world environment.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I am Keisha Wiley bringing you greetings from Dallas, Texas. Welcome to the Texas Virtual Teacher Symposium, which is hosted by the Texas-TAG DTeC team. Texas-TAG stands for Parents, Administrators, Community, Teachers, and Students. It is a coalition of stakeholders. One moment, you guys, I'm going to ask my Texas team to mute. Thank you, guys. All right, I'm going to start that thing over so we can hear everything that's being said. All right, well, good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Keisha Wiley, and I'm bringing you greetings from Dallas, Texas. How about those Cowboys? All right. Welcome to the Texas Virtual Teacher Symposium, which is hosted by us, your Texas-PAG DTeC team. Texas-PAG stands for Parents, Administrators, Community, Teachers, and Students. We are a coalition of stakeholders committed to advocate for fair implementation of ESSA, which is the Every Student Succeeds Act, and quality equitable education throughout the Lone Star State. Our focus is to ensure that all stakeholders are working together collectively to guarantee that education remains a civil right for all those in society actively seeking knowledge and success. Whether it is your first time joining us or you've attended other sessions with our DTeC-TAG teams, we want to thank you for your presence and participation as we learn and grow tonight. Tell us where you're watching us from. Hello to our family in Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, Texas, Ohio, Tennessee, Florida, California, DC. We know y'all are out there. Please share this video. We are very excited to have you all here with us tonight. Rachel, tag your it.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our kickoff to our symposium. I'm Rachel Broussard, hailing from Houston, Texas, and I would love for you all to join us every night this week. So tag your it, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jennifer McMillan. It is so great to see all of y'all tonight. I am from Dallas, Texas, and Sharisa, tag your it.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. I am Sharisa Jordan. I am coming to you from the northeast side of Houston, Texas, residing in Crosby, Texas. I would like to welcome you, like Rachel and Keishla said, please share, get everybody in education and all of our stakeholders involved. So Lavetta, tag your it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lavetta Levels, and I'm here bringing you greetings from Dallas, Texas. Go Cowboys, go Stars. Just a winning season. Just like those Cowboys and the Stars. I'm so excited to be on this winning team. And my next team member is Miss Yoronda. Tag your it.
Good evening. I'm bringing greetings from the opposite side of Houston, the southwest side, by way of Sugarland. I'm Yoronda Morgan, and I also have the privilege of introducing the mother of DTeC-TAG, Dr. Johni Cruse Craig. She is the National Project Director of the DTeC-TAG. She leads the national effort with a team of 45 TAG equity warriors and over 450 trained DTeC change agents, of which we're a part of. Education is truly a heart matter. It guides her divine path as she seeks to connect heart to heart with others to impact education for all. It is because of her we are. Dr. Johni Cruse Craig.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. Y'all, please excuse my voice. Listen, I'm excited as y'all are kicking off this week symposium. Oh my gosh, a whole week of great performance. Yes. I got you. All right, so I don't know what's up with the sound. Can y'all hear me? Yes. Okay, I have the distinct pleasure of bringing in the DREF president, Carolyn. Carolyn he was elected the president of the Education Foundation Board of Directors in 2015. Professionally, Ms. Lewis is a business consultant. The sound, I hear sound. Do y'all hear sound?
Yeah, I think
okay, that's better. Professionally, Ms. Lewis is a business consultant with more than 4 decades of experience in business, tax law, finance, auditing, and real estate. She retired with honors from the Internal Revenue Service, our friend, as a senior manager. She is a local taxpayer advocate after 38 years of distinguished service. She received the National Taxpayer Advocate Award for her dedication to reestablishing advocate service for the taxpayers of Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina occurred in 2005. Ms. Lewis has held numerous national leadership positions with the distinction of serving as national treasurer of 2 major women organizations, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated from 2006 to 2010, and the Links Incorporated from 2014 to 2018. Ms. Lewis is a charter member of the Pontchartrain chapter of the Links Incorporated. Her leadership on the sorority's National Executive Board has also included serving as chair of the National Finance Committee from 2000 to 2004 and chair of the National Internal Audit Committee from 2011 to 2013. The DREF president is a member of the New Orleans alumni chapter, where she served as its local president. So welcome, Sarah Lewis.
Good evening, and welcome everyone. I am just happy and delighted to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me this evening. I am excited and elated, and congratulations to the DTeC-TAG. You all are doing excellent and wonderful work, and we just appreciate it so much at the Delta Research and Educational Foundation. You know, we've been around for about 53 years at DREF, and we have raised our voice by remaining strong, vibrant, and poised to meet the 21st century challenges with unwavering spirit and dedication, just as Delta Sigma Theta sorority created us to do. During these challenging times, we are standing firm, and we are realizing that social and economic equality is tantamount now for generations of African American women and children and their families, and for our communities. And so we are working under that guiding principle. The DREF team has done a wonderful job of making a pandemic pivot during this time of COVID-19. And our digital platform and the work that you are doing is seamless in converting to our telework mode and continuing to service our donors and our communities. Just to give you a little background, you know, DREF has always raised its voice dealing with education and research, because remember, education and research is in our name. And those are our core components. Whether we were dealing with social justice issues, gun violence, or education, the Delta Research and Educational Foundation continues to create possibilities and improve lives. Now, you probably want to know, well, how did they get involved in the Delta Teacher Efficacy Campaign? Well, you know, throughout our sorority's history, we have emphasized on the student, on scholarships, on tutoring, on mentoring, educational development, on standardized tests, you know, to achieve academic success. But we didn't always focus on the teacher, who was our main ingredient, who was part of the equation that needed us to focus and provide them with some additional skills so that they could be, as Sarah Martha Lou Stewart calls it, efficacious. So therefore, we created the Delta Teacher campaign, the DTeC campaign, should I say, excuse me. And so DTeC was a new approach. And with this new approach, we wanted to enhance the academic, I guess, the academic success of the student by helping our teachers and make them more efficacious. We received a grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And guess what? We hired an excellent program director called Dr. Johni Cruse. Yay! Who, with all of her wisdom, assisted us with developing all of the prongs of this particular process and particular program. She helped us to develop our processes to train teachers, to conduct advocacy sessions for the communities, and she also published a scholarly research platform in our research journal, which is called the Phyllis Journal, which we named after the first African-American poet, Phyllis Wheatley. So because of this DTeC program that culturally revived, focusing on the teacher and helping our teachers to be more efficacious, Bill and Melinda Gates thought it was a wonderful success, and it was. So therefore, we moved to the TAG program, Teachers Advocating Great Change. And of course, we used the equity warriors and the change agents that were involved in our first DTeC program, which is some of you who are on here tonight. And because of your dedication, because of the advocacy, and because of the work that you did in your communities, and because you're change agents, that program then was truly successful. And because we focused on the fact that education was a heart matter, guess what? We now have He Live, who in this program are lessons on equity, knowledge, and action in the community. You see, you as the Texas PAC are assisting us with creating possibilities and improving lives. And because of your work in your community, the partnerships that you've developed, the community relations that you have, your dedication to your students, to the parents, your dedication as administrators, as principals, and serving as educators, we know that you will continue to move this program along and to achieve our objectives for the He Live program. So I just want to leave you with a few words this evening, but to give you this last statement, because I feel it's very important. And in this environment that we're in, I'm going to quote Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who stated, "Fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that leads others to join you." And so I'm going to tell you, advocate. Advocate means what? Standing up for the things we believe in and making sure that other people understand that we support them and getting them to support them with us. So as she said, do it in a way so that other people can join you. Because remember, everyone is responsible. Everyone is responsible for making sure that they are an advocate, that they are advocating for effective and equitable education. That's everybody's responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah Lewis, for that. You framed it, you broke it down well, you gave great explanations, and you closed it out real good to open us up from everything that I think all of us are sort of like mourning at this time. So thank you for bringing that perspective and that powerful word to this particular program. I'll just sort of share a little bit more about this particular program and where we're going in the Texas PACs team, because that's why we're here this evening. We're here to learn about Texas PACs, what they've done, what they're doing, where they're going, and how you can support them in the DTeC-TAG program overall. So I want to first, and if you can in those comments, help me thank the Texas PACs team. Tell them how amazing they are. And I'm going to pass it to you, Rhonda, here in a second, because I want her to break down what PACs is, because some people are probably saying, well, what is PACs? Well, Texas PACs was very intentional when they gave themselves their name back in TAG 1.0. And I love how they thought about it and how they framed it and how they were inclusive of the whole community of educational stakeholders with their work. So I thank each of you for all that you've done, for being here from almost the beginning, the inception of DTeC. You know, we started with the Teacher Efficacy Academy, where we had the online piece and facilitators. And then we went to Florida and we did some in-person stuff and online stuff. Then we did TAG, where we came to DC and did policy institutes. And, you know, we have an amazing community. We have an amazing community of educators, and we'll talk more about this program and the people involved as we go through some of these this panel discussion and this program overall. But I just first want to say thank you, and thank you to DREF for having education in your name and believing in DTeC-TAG, because it was all a vision. I've shared this several times, but it started on a napkin in New Orleans.
Yes.
At a Delta convention, and it has grown to where we are today. So I say thank you, Texas PACs, and you, Rhonda, I'm gonna pass it to you so that you can further explain a little bit about PACs, and then we can move into some discussion.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Craig. A few years ago, before I joined DTeC-TAG, after the Christmas break with the holidays, I wanted to reconnect with my students. And I gave each one of them a personal invitation and asked them to join the PAC. I'm always trying to connect stuff. So I took the words of, I took the letters of parents, educators, and I made it DPACs. And so I've just used that. And every year my students get a personal invitation to join the PACs. And at the very end, that's why students are at the end, because again, we start and we do the connection and bring the students in to make sure that they are a part of their learning, and that they also know that we are there to support them. And so with that, we're going to, and as you have said so much, you and Sarah Lewis have said about DTeC-TAG and the impact, I just want to know, in this time since you birthed it, what has been the impact DTeC has had on public education in the past 5 years, would you all say?
Well, first, I want to start by saying this was definitely not me birthing. I was just a vessel that was found in Georgia to go to DC to birth out this program. So this is definitely a collective effort. Like, honestly, from the beginning, it's a collective effort. I don't know what's going on with my saying, but So the impact for students, as I thought about that question, I first wanted to I think about it, and I wonder, we never had direct student measurements with DTeC or TAG, but our impact has been absolutely amazing because we know that we've reignited the passion in educators, right?
Right. Yes.
We've trained them through the Teacher Efficacy Academy, the hybrid model we did in partnership with the University of Nevada in Las Vegas, and the TAG Policy Institutes. The no direct student data. However, there's many testimonials from the actual DTeC change agents as well as TAG equity warriors as to how resignation letters were rescinded, right? Think about that for a minute. So I can't tell you a number for impact, but what I can tell you is that some teachers who were called to the profession, who were ready to walk away from the profession, were reignited, and their embers are still burning today because of DTeC. So if we could put numbers to it, that would be absolutely amazing. But guess what? Because of research and how programs are set up, we just haven't gotten to that local level to do student measurement. However, we know that it's been amazing impact. We have over 450 something trained DTeC change agents, and now we have a team of 45 TAG equity warriors. So you think about that. You think about every one of those people serving in the role they serve in a school district. You think about the students they touch in their classes, the students they touch in their buildings, the students they're touching their communities, their faith-based organizations, and you can sort of imagine a number, but I can't give you a magic number. All I do know is that this community has done what it was ordained to do at such a time as this, starting back in 2014.
Correct.
Just think about not being in a DTeC-TAG community and having to transition to this virtual space. It was hard.
Yeah.
But in our community, we were very intentional and created safe spaces and think tanks for our DTeC-TAG people, our community, to bring supports. So from my perspective, I believe that it's been amazing impact on the students. And, the DTeC-TAG change agents and TAG equity warriors, not only are they advocating in their local community, they are also teaching, showing, and modeling students how to advocate for themselves from where they sit, as well as the parents and their other colleagues and community stakeholders. So that's my insight on the student impact over the last 5 years.
Well, I would like to say, and I don't have all the measurements like Dr. Cruse Craig has, but I do want to say one thing that I have found as far as the impact on the educators. We provided them a safe place. They have professional development, and most have professional development in their schools, and they have persons who come in and all of that. But when you're with DTeC-TAG, or whether it's He Live or whatever, you have a safe place where you can express yourself, say the things you'd like to say, and with that you can get the kind of assistance and help that you need to be more effective for your students, and that's better for the kids. And then we also added the advocacy portion to it. A lot of times we teach. We get up in the morning, we get dressed, we go to school. We hope that we can be effective that day, and our students are learning what we expect for them to learn. But we never think about the advocacy part, the part that says, I need to find out more about what my students are entitled to as students. And what can I do to make that a reality? It's almost like I know that the school is supposed to have these kind of resources, but how can I make that equal for them? How can I make that young student who maybe didn't get the right dinner the night before better the next day and be able to focus? Or how can I reach them emotionally or socially? So I think we've done our part with helping our change agents to reach that level of advocacy, and they're doing a great job. And the more we reach, the better that reach is, the better our kids will be, and the better educational experience they will have. So I really am grateful because of that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Can y'all please share about the Texas DTeC team activations in the past 2 years?
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Craig, she knows more about that than I. Okay.
So I will. In Texas team, like they say, everything is big in Texas. Well, this Texas PAX team had showed up from the beginning big. I remember when we first started DTeC-TAG, we had these DTeC-TAG change agents that went through the professional development, served in leadership roles, right? Then we came to TAG. And when we first started TAG 1.0, we had an opportunity to do demo projects. So that was like to have teams to sort of set up and do things and pilot things to come back and share with the other team members to help them shape their work. Well, guess what? You know, Texas PAX raised their hand and they did those demo projects all together in TAG 1.0. They did 19 activities. They did 19 activities, from community events, Black history programs, church voting discussions. That was back then. They were preparing back then, having voting discussions, going to legislative candidate forums, going to the state legislative, talking to the legislators, teacher groups, conferences, DST, state, regional, and national conventions, Delta Days at the nation's capital, festivals, other affiliations with other organizations that they're tied to. And they really utilized every person on their team and the relationships they had built throughout their careers, their churches, wherever, to really find places to activate. So the Texas team has done some amazing activity. And here we go. We're popping off a whole week of activity from this Texas team. This is just a kickoff. This is just a preamble. This is just a little bit of what you're going to get, right? So you have a whole Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday upcoming. Make sure you register and get into these places to hear these voices. See, one thing that COVID-19 has done that we got to make sure we look through this positive lens is it's given us a reach that we would have never imagined.
Correct.
We would have never imagined this. And so collectively, the Texas PAX team has done amazing work along with our other tag teams, but we're here talking about Texas tonight. So that's my insight on the work of the Texas team from the beginning. It's been consistent. It's been with the spirit of excellence, and it's been built on relationships, which we all know that education is a heart matter. So when all of these Texas PAX team members are able to tap into themselves and the relationships that they've built, it has really and truly had them to go far and wide throughout the state of Texas. So amazing work, and thank you.
And I say ditto.
Okay. Also, now you mentioned COVID-19. I can't say enough about it. What would you say has been some of the pain points that you're hearing from family and friends?
Okay, well, I was sharing that with Dr. Craig the other day, so I guess I'll jump in on that one. In this virtual environment, our students, basically, when they go to school, they feel that the person who is their teacher is their teacher. Now they're at home being instructed or assisted by their mother or their grandmother or their brother or their older brother or sister, or even a tutor. And to give you an example, I have a friend, her little 4-year-old granddaughter, she comes over to her house, and the mother and father, they are working. So the grandmother is responsible for making sure that she gets her virtual lessons. Well, she's looking at her and she says, "You're not my teacher. This is not school." So she won't sit at the computer and look at it because she wants to play. Because remember, when I come to grandmother's house, I have fun and I play, and I don't look at her as though she's my instructor. So of course, her grandmother is reaching out to retired teachers and asking them, "Can you help me to instruct my little granddaughter?" Because she won't sit at the computer, because she doesn't view her grandmother's house as a school environment. My godchild has 2 sons, and they're in the school environment, and she has them sitting there with their computers and they're at the table, but then they'll get up and go in the refrigerator. And she says, "Well, wait a minute, you're at school. You can't go in the refrigerator." And they said, "But what?" She says, "You don't go in the refrigerator when you're at school." So the environment that they're in does not mimic school, and they miss that. They miss that environment, and they look to their instructor as being their teacher, not their mother, not their cousins, and not these other people. So it's making it very difficult for them to focus. And it's very difficult for the parents to get them to focus and to make the environment conducive to learning. So in this COVID-19 era, it's very challenging to get your child to focus, because they have in their mind a certain picture of what my classroom looks like, what my teacher does, what my teacher says, when she lets us go to recess. Because of my little godchild, her son says, "It's time for recess," and she says, "What?" So, the parents are learning. So it's difficult, but they are trying their best to create a good environment, but it's still not the environment that the students are used to.
Right. And that's correct. A couple other pain points that I want to highlight. And we learned this through the He Live series. That was a summer-long series, 27, I believe, live programs. Okay. And each one of them, some of the viewers would come and do a survey afterwards. So when we looked at that survey, one of the questions asked, how is COVID-19 affecting, you as an educator, or you as whoever you are? And the number one thing was the balance of work and home, because you have so many people who have their own families. Their families are in the home now. The children are at home trying to do school. They're trying to be the teacher they're supposed to be in their space. And so that is a big challenge, trying to find out those best practices and those strategies to help balance that piece. Another one was just the virtual environment, period. We have this digital divide, which is not equitable. You have children that don't even have devices, and if they have a device, they're sharing it with the sisters and the brothers. They don't have the bandwidth to be able to tap in. And what I found, since this time, and looking at different work that other organizations are doing, a lot of people are doing assessments, and they're asking, what kind of device do you have at home, trying to fill out their communities. Well, some of those questions, when they were posed, I don't believe were posed correctly, and I know many people don't either, because you can ask, is there a device in the home? And it's a yes. So there's a lot of assumptions made, but you need to ask specifically what type of devices are in the home, how many people are using those devices. Correct. Is there a dedicated device to that particular student? Because again, we go to broadband, having enough broadband width to make a system run, different things you have to tap into. But also when you have multiple people in the home that are students, like they're sharing devices. So that's a pain point. That's a pain point. And I think if you don't actually live in that type of environment, then sometimes we don't have that lens or that perspective, and we continue to move on. Another pain point that I'll bring up, and this is one for me, I'm just being very transparent here. I look at all the decisions being made, everything about going back to school, not going back to school, virtual learning. And I think about the trauma that the teachers and the students and everyone involved is dealing with. The trauma that started back in March when everyone had to abruptly go to online learning and come out of buildings.
Sure.
But then look at those schools that went back to school.
Right.
Not saying any decision is right or wrong, but when you go back into a building and someone tests positive, then you got to get tested for 14 days. Then you got to go home and do virtual. Then you come back into it. Think about the trauma of all of that, of the back and the forth. So that's a pain point for me, because I often think about that, and I think about the teachers and the students and the parents. You know, find childcare for 14 days when you didn't have to deal with it because of a positive test. Yeah. So I think about a lot of those things, and I think it's so many pain points that we could pull out here. Let's talk about the teacher.
The teachers. Now, that's what I was talking about.
Let's talk about and the administrators.
We have one parish here, and you know, our parishes are real close, where the teachers, one is doing virtual, Orleans, and the teachers had to report to school. And I mean, they were just, and then they went to school, and of course somebody tested positive and had to close down the class. And it's just traumatic for everyone. And the teachers are nervous, so they really can't focus. The kids are nervous because, you know, they can't focus, and their parents are nervous too. So it really is a very tough environment. Very tough.
And before we move from this question, I want to flip it a minute, because we talked about the pain points. I do believe that some people are thriving in this environment as well. And I don't think that we should dismiss that, right? Yeah. So we have like these two polar extremes and some middle parts there. But you got some people in homes that have, you know, Surface Pros and Apple computers. They have the best broadband they can have, and everybody in their home has a corner in their room and a little desk, and they're doing amazing. Uh-huh. They're doing great. You have some people that may not have all of that, but they're more creative in finding those ways. You know, they're finding those schools or those places with the buses with the Wi-Fi. So people are thriving as well. You got some students that really enjoy this. Just think about that introverted student that didn't like going to school, being around them people anyway. They're probably at home thriving. So we have so many polar and far different ends of everything going on in the environment. Like, it's not a one size fits all. And I think we all have to broaden our perspectives and adjust our lens for the situation in which we are looking at. We cannot look at everything the same, because we will be totally off.
Right.
Thank you so much for that. Our next question is, how can participants stay connected, participate, donate, or get involved with the DTeC efforts? And what are some upcoming events that we have?
Okay, well, to stay connected with DREF, you know, DREF is on Facebook, Twitter. We have a website, www.deltafoundation.org. We're on LinkedIn. And so you can go and we post every day. We post either through our DTeC program, our HELI program, or we post for all of us research program that we have, because we're involved in that. And HELI is involved in that program as well, helping to educate persons about research and biomedical research and why it's important to help us with our health. Because if you're not healthy, a child can't learn if they're not healthy, or if they don't feel well, or their parents are not well. So all of this works together for the whole child. And so you can connect with us that way. I think, you know, we have activities, because HELI has activities, and we actually post them every day. I think with your Texas Pack this week, we're advertising that so that persons can join in and get the benefit of this excellent information that you're providing. They can also find out about us on all social media, I want to say. And if they want to donate to DREF, you can, if any of your relatives are in the United Way, you can donate through United Way. You can make a donation on our website. We do use Cash App and Venmo, so we can do that as well. And then, of course, on our website, all of our programs are listed and all of our activities are listed. So you can follow us, like us, follow us and get on board with us. And we will provide you all of the information you can to stay connected. Now, Dr. Cruse may know of other events that are coming up, but yours is coming up this week. And so we are definitely publicizing your event and making sure that everyone knows about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Social media is really a good place to connect with DREF as well as DTeC-TAG and, other state tag teams. Donating, of course, you can do from the website, like Sarah Lewis said. We actually have at DREF a fundraiser campaign going on right now.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I love it. It's called the Clean Hands Campaign.
Oh, you're talking about the Clean Hands? Okay.
Yeah, the Clean Hands Campaign. So, DREF is known for their hand sanitizers.
Yes.
The Hands Campaign gives an opportunity for people to donate and actually send hand sanitizers to different centers, daycare centers, people that are actually in school, other organizations, so that we can all keep our hands clean and stop the spread, right? That's part of what we all know we need to do as we wear face coverings. We need to be very cognizant of the hand sanitizer. So the Clean Hands is a really good way that you can support DREF and support organizations in the same breath, in the same movement. Upcoming events, I believe the Texas PAX has some other stuff coming later in October with some post-symposium stuff that they'll tell you about later on in the week when they get started. And then DTeC-TAG, all of the state teams are doing activations from now until April 2021. So if you connect with us on the social media platforms, you'll see how we are all supporting each other and promoting and marketing these events. So that's how you can stay connected with us. And how can you get involved? I'm glad you asked. You can definitely volunteer digitally with these state teams. You can connect with DTeC-TAG at bit.ly/tag your it. And you can connect with us to get our monthly newsletter. And then when you start seeing things coming up in your state, you will be getting communications from the state teams, so you can connect there. There's many opportunities to volunteer, bring your gifts, bring your talents, because guess what? It truly is all of us effort, not the medical all of us, but all of us,
all of us.
So you can connect and help and serve in any way you like. You can learn about the teams, learn who to connect with, and all of that. So that's it.
Well, thank you so much for coming to speak with us today. And thank you for all that you've done for our students and the educators that you've been working with. We really appreciate y'all. And Yolanda is going to start our Texas Table Talk.
Okay, well, before we start Texas Table Talk, we want to bring up and tag Rachel. Rachel, tag your it.
So, Table Talk. And so, Keishla, won't you tell us how we're going to start our Texas Table Talk? Bring up that good graphic.
Okay. We are going to hear from the audience now. So we want you to join us at the table. And you see our table, we want you to always make sure you have a seat at a table. So come on in and join us. We'll take your questions now.
Love it. I love how you had that plug of always make sure you have a seat at the table. Was it Shirley Chisholm that said if you don't have a chair, get that folding chair and bring it? That's important. So I love the concept of Texas Table Talk. Really like that, and bring your seat to the table. So I don't know if we have any questions from the.
We do have a question. Our first question is if you can share. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Can you share the Texas connections to DREF and DTeC, like scholarships, grants, and such?
Oh, sure. As far as scholarships and grants are concerned, as far as DREF is concerned, you mean?
DREF and DTeC, yes.
Yes. Well, DREF has always been involved with scholarships and different activities that help promote educational opportunities for our students and in our communities. And our foundation if we want to talk about Texas, we have a lot going on in Texas. how they say United States of Texas. We have a lot going on in Texas. And so just to give you a little bit of information, one of our founding members of the DREF board, Dr. Edith Irby Jones, a medical doctor from Houston, is one of the founding members of the Delta Research and Educational Foundation. And she was a dynamic trailblazer. And so we are very happy about that. We also have a long engagement with Texas, as far as we have 3 board members on the DEF board from Texas. One is is Josie Daniels, who is a pharmacy owner. We have Anjanette Wyatt, who is a doctor of pharmacy and who is the executive director, or you should say CEO, of the clinical cell pharmacy in Houston. And last but not least, Stephanie Nellums Page, who is a business executive. And these persons are on our DREF board. As far as scholarships are concerned, we give out numerous scholarships every year, and we award empowerment grants to the Delta chapters who are in the Texas area. We have 20 chapters that have funds from the Texas area, state of Texas, should I say, who have funds at DREF, like Amarillo. I'm not going to call them all because I don't want them to get mad with me that I didn't call their name. But we have Dallas and Houston and, Killeen and Metropolitan Dallas. We have all types of chapters, but we have 20 of them who have funds at DREF. And those funds are used for scholastic purposes. Metropolitan Dallas and San Antonio were awarded record numbers of scholarships this fiscal year. And we are pleased to announce that we awarded during the 2021 fiscal year, this year, community empowerment grants to Austin alumni, Metropolitan Dallas, and Houston alumni chapter. And they were awarded these grants to do work in voter registration or in education, or either dealing with the census. Our empowerment grants, DREF has given out empowerment grants to Delta chapters since 2008. And we have given them out in different areas, the different types of areas, program areas, or civic engagement, educational development, financial literacy, health and wellness, and international awareness. So as far as scholarships are concerned, we give scholarships. That's, like I told you, education is in our name. And we offer scholarships to education majors. And we have one particular one that was established by the husband of one of our sorority sisters. Her name is Eula Dean Roby. And this scholarship is particularly for students majoring in education. And so they can apply every year. I see every year, every 2 years. So DREF is very involved in the education field, and especially in the state of Texas.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. In saying that, and also in an intro that comes in, we have at some point, or at one point, we had gotten away from teaching children and we were teaching more content. So how would you say, or even Dr. Craig can take this, how can educators ensure that they're teaching the whole child during this time of virtual and hybrid teaching models?
That is a good question and a very important question. And I think, it comes with a mindset shift, and it comes with empathy and compassion and wanting to learn how to do things differently, right? So because we're in this virtual setting, though we could have been the most highly efficacious, efficient, and effective teacher in the building, we have to realize that we have some learning curves that we have to be open to doing. And that comes with understanding some of the major things that affect our children, because we cannot just teach them academics. It has to be holistic. So we have to understand mental health and trauma. We have to understand, Maslow. We have to understand their home life. We have to get to know these children. We have to understand social emotional learning to teach that whole child. So for me, when I think about that question, it goes back to the educator having a yearning to know the child for real, and right, doing what it takes to know that child. That may be different type of activities that you pose to give that child an opportunity for you to know who they are. I have one educator friend, she was sharing last week that, in this virtual setting, what she's learned to help her to teach the whole child is that every morning she starts class, she allows every child to say hello. And in that hello, she's learned to discern how their day is going, how they are in their voice, in their body language. And she's able to then, bring in a counselor and have that child sort of removed to have a conversation or find different supports that the child needs. One thing for sure to teach the whole child is that systems, school systems, state, everybody needs to really look at wraparound services, because we can't really effectively support the whole child without some of these wraparound services, because as a teacher in the classroom, you can only do but so much. Like, teachers are already so many roles. So that's really my insight. And you have to and another thing I'll say is professional development. Teachers have to be open to going to different professional developments outside of what their district gives, because the district may not offer you something on the whole child. So you have to go out and seek that information. Hey, DTeC-TAG has plenty, but you got YouTube, you have websites. So you have to seek to want to know how to reach those children holistically.
Thank you. No, sorry, go ahead.
No. All I want to say is Dr. Cruse Craig covered it. But one of the things that I wanted to say is a lot of times, when a kid comes and even if it's virtual and they're not answering on you're asking them questions and they're not answering. A lot of times we may just say, well, they're just not engaged today. But like Dr. Craig said, we have to ask questions and find out and try to get the answers from them. And like you said, provide those services. I have a friend, she's teaching, and one of her things she asks them every morning is, because they don't come every day. Mm-hmm. They come, maybe every other day to school, maybe 2 days a week they stay home or the opposite. And so she will start off with, how was your day the day before? What did you do? To get them to open up and to talk, to find out really where they are that morning and how they're feeling about their experience the day before. And she has found out lots of different things that has helped her. Some of them have been identified by test scores. And she feels as though those test scores, they may be accurate, they may not, but she wants to get to the real kid, to talk to the student and found out that the test scores were not really what that kid's capability was. It was a lot more, but you know how we all take tests differently and we all, do things, and we don't always aspire in the same way as another kid may on a test. So she found out that some of these kids, the score might be one thing, but the kid's ability was something different, and it was better than the score. So now she's asking for services to try to see what she can do to help this kid to get to the point they need to actually achieve. And that goes back to not just equality, but equity, bringing them up to what they really need so that they can perform.
Yeah. And before we move, Jennifer, I just want to share here with everybody, learning inventories, multiple intelligence tests, learning style tests are so important. And I know as an educator, I did it all the time, and it helped me to know how students learn. And I wanted to say that to help the virtual environment, like the parents that are don't normally do this much engaging with the children, go look up multiple intelligence tests. Look up learning styles and get the students those. And as educators, do the same thing, because if they learn auditorily, spatially, where their gifts lie, it helps you to teach them more holistically.
Right. Correct.
So it's really good to use those assessments to learn the students all the more, so you'll know how to build your lessons out.
Thank you so much for coming on today and speaking with us. And thank you for all of your hard work and heart work that you've done for each and every one of us. And now Yaron is going to bring out our next guest.
Okay, Rachel, I'm tagging you again.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for this vibrant, awesome discussion. And ladies, we are just truly thankful for all of the knowledge and wisdom that you shared tonight, kicking us off on our virtual symposium, Education for All. And you definitely talked about that today. You talked about what our amazing DTeC-TAG program and our He Live focus in this virtual. I love that pandemic pivot. That's exactly what we did. We took this pandemic by the horns and we said, hey, y'all gonna learn something today, right? Everybody's gonna learn something today. So thank you all so much. And as a token of our appreciation to both of you, so for Dr. Johni Cruse Craig, we thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge today. We thank you so much for your hard work. So we present you with this certificate from the Texas PACS team. We thank you for being a part of this virtual education symposium. And President Soror Lewis, we thank you so much for being here and your leadership in DREF and just both of your visions for everything that we're able to do with our DTeC-TAG program, He Live, and what we have coming in the future. Because as we spoke TAG, as we spoke He Live, I know that our future is bright and we're going to continue to help educators. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Now, we are going to bring up Keishla and give away some prizes.
All right, thank you guys again for sharing with us. You all, I know you are looking forward to this week, as am I. It's going to be an amazing week. If you haven't already done so, we're asking you to please register. You should see a registration link coming across your screen and a survey link. Let me also say that. So we also want your feedback. Guys, please be sure to share with us your feedback concerning the symposium this week, and be sure to register for the symposium this week. You can grab that registration link out of the comments, and your name will be entered into a drawing for a Visa gift card. Speaking of a drawing, we have a few of our few people who have already registered, and so we want to go ahead and acknowledge those individuals, and we're going to give away 2 gift cards tonight. All right, so let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Our first winner is, congratulations to, look at it, Miss Krista Glover. Miss Krista Glover has always supported us through He Live, and now she's here on the Texas PACS show. So thank you, Miss Glover, for that support. Also, congratulations goes to Miss Melissa James. Congratulations, Miss Melissa, and congratulations, Miss Krista. Thank you guys again. Be sure to fill out the registration. There it is, the Tiny CC at Texas PACS, and also give us your feedback through the survey information. And right now I'm going to tag Sharissa. You're it.
Hello, back again. We would like to send a huge thank you to the following sponsors: the Houston, Texas Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the Dallas Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the East Harris Chambers Liberty County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Suburban Houston Fort Bend Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and to our huge sponsors, Delta Teacher Efficacy Campaign, Teachers Leading Great Change, known as DTeC-TAG, and the Delta Research and Educational Foundation. We would like to give them a huge thank you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you from the Texas PACS. So now I'm going to turn it over to Lavetta. So Tag, you're it.
Hi, everyone. If you are still here and you can listen, you hear us, please understand, tonight was just a wonderful kickoff. I mean, we wanted a post-symposium. We want to get you ready for what was going to happen for the remaining days. And I tell you, Soror Lewis and Soror Dr. Johni Cruse Craig did that. So thank you for establishing that foundation, giving the historical context. And of course, they are both teachers, as you can tell. They're always teaching. They told us about the research. They gave us the data. They gave us the Texas connection. So thank you to Soror Carolyn Lewis, the president of DREF, and Dr. Johni Cruse Craig, the national project director of DTeC-TAG. So excited. Texas team, come back with me. Before they come back, I'm sorry. Before they come back, let me tell you about tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday night. We have the phenomenal Dr. Lynn Jennings with the Education Trust. She's going to share with us her work on advocacy with public school districts across the country. But not only that, they have an office in Texas now. So she's going to share us some Texas data. This is the Texas Virtual Symposium, but you will get national information and you will get specific information to the state of Texas and probably some of your school districts. So please stay tuned with us. So exciting. Make sure you register so that you can win one of the prizes. So tomorrow, we will see you. Tomorrow, we begin at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, we begin at 6 p.m. Central and 7 p.m. Eastern. Now, let's have a Texas team. Texas team, come back, Texas team. Woo! Such a great show tonight. My team is the dream team. The Cowboys are winning. The Stars are winning. We have this winning Texas Pack team, and there's nothing else that we can say about that. But thank you for showing up. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
We gotta fight against them, but we need numbers. We need to show up at school board meetings. We need to show up at county commissioner meetings. We need to have someone on the agenda to talk and know what they're talking about to advocate.